Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday, September 12th, 2024. Born on this date in 1913, four-time Olympic gold medalist Jesse Owens of Oakville. Also on this date, 1979, Hurricane Frederick made landfall just before 10 p.m. on Dauphin Island. Frederick took hurricane-force winds inland all the way into Choctaw County. And while it brought powerful winds and heavy storm surge along the Gulf Coast, Frederick wasn't a monster rainmaker, at least compared to many other hurricanes, although NOAA records show that 11 inches fell on Pascagoula, Mississippi. Now fast forward to today. Tropical storm Francine may not bring that much rain to us here in Alabama, but some places could see a few inches pile up between last night and today. Francine made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane yesterday afternoon near Morgan City, Louisiana. Now, one clarification I want to make on yesterday's show. The former UAB researcher who won that $3.8 million civil suit against the school for Reba Mohinpour has been reported by NBC News to be a naturalized U.S. citizen. I called her an Iranian on yesterday's show, and indeed she was born in Iran. Today, we have items on school threats of violence, Senator Tuberville versus the Pentagon, and the Galleria Elvis. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. Teenagers continued to be arrested Wednesday as threats of violence have swept over the state since last week's killings at a high school in Winder, Georgia, reports AL.com's Carol Robinson. Montgomery police announced that 4 students have been charged with making terrorist threats in that city, a 14-year-old, 2 13-year-olds, and an 11-year-old. At Huffman High in Birmingham, a 14-year-old was charged yesterday in connection to a shooting threat. Similar arrests have already been made in the Etowah County city of Southside and in Dothan. And Eufaula City Schools canceled classes last Thursday after receiving a threat. Said Birmingham Police spokesman Officer Truman Fitzpatrick, quote, "I think that we're dealing with a generation that seeks attention at any cost." He said law enforcement has taken all threats seriously, even if you're just doing it for attention, and throwing all available resources at these threats. Translation, if you make a threat against a school, your life will quickly become much more difficult. It can't be enjoyable sitting and sobbing in the principal's office with your parents and a couple of police officers. Also Thursday, a 16-year-old boy at Clay Chalkville High School was taken into custody for possessing a gun on campus. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said the student did not take out the pistol or threaten anyone with it. U.S. Senator from Alabama Tommy Tuberville is again finding himself at odds with Pentagon officials. Last year, Tuberville temporarily blocked the promotions of more than 400 military officers over the Defense Department's policy of providing leave and travel costs for service members who traveled across state lines to have abortions. He relented amid pressure from much of Washington, including fellow Senate Republicans. Now this time, reports AL.com's Greg Garrison, Tuberville is trying to block only one officer's promotion. You may remember when Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, who's from Mobile, spent time in the hospital in January dealing with prostate surgery complications and not communicating that to the press or even the White House. Well, Army Lieutenant General Ronald Clark was a senior military assistant to Austin, and now he's up for a promotion to 4-star commander of the U.S. Army Pacific Force. And Tuberville has expressed concerns about what Clark didn't do during Austin's time in the hospital. Specifically, that Clark did not notify the president about what a Tuberville spokesperson called a compromised chain of command. So he's announced that he's blocking Clark's nomination. The Pentagon responded to that on Wednesday. Press Secretary Air Force Major General Pat Ryder said a review showed no gap in the chain of command during that time. He also praised Clark's experience and expertise. Quote, "And so we would urge the Senate to confirm all of our qualified nominees. As we've seen before, all of these kinds of holds can undermine our military readiness." End quote. Well, if you frequented the River Chase Galleria over the years, you might remember the mall guy, or the Elvis dude, or however you might have known him. He was an older gentleman with a trucker-style cap over his solid black head of hair and a trimmed but full goatee. To me, he didn't really look much like Elvis, but he did have those black sideburns. Those go a long way. And he spent a good bit of time walking through that mall. AL.com's Jeremy Gray and Carol Robinson report that the man, whose name was Ron Freeze, passed away on August 26th at UAB Hospital. A little background on the Galleria Elvis. His wife died young, at age 40 in 1985. He had two daughters who passed away within a few months of each other in 1999, and both those daughters had worked at the River Chase Galleria. They've been gone 25 years now, and during that time, Freeze had gone on so many walks in that mall that people began to recognize him, to wave, to speak, or even to ask to have their pictures taken with him. He became a mall celebrity, and by many accounts, he was a friendly one. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with burial expenses. I'll link to Jeremy and Carol's story in show notes, and that'll have a link to the account. Ron Freeze was 81 years old. Thanks everybody for listening to us. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Hey, it's quiz day, so check that out. Until then, come on by and see what we're doing anytime you want to. We're always open on the internet at AL.com.